Hey guys, how's it going? Taking a look today at the H&K VP9 SK. This is the compact version of the H&K VP9, and this has been sent to me for testing and review by the guys at H&K, so thanks to them for that. I want to talk a little bit about the gun in specific, but then also sort of the the theory that goes behind this whole thing, this whole package here, and why you may be interested in picking up a gun that's sort of in this size, weight range, that's kind of a subcompact, but yet still very chunky in hand, and kind of fills your hand pretty well. We're going to talk all about that kind of stuff. So I've had this gun for a couple of months now. I've been shooting it myself, been shooting it with some friends, having them try it out. And some of the opinions that I hear about this gun is, in most cases they shoot this in comparison to a full-size gun, and they're generally feeling like, well, I'd rather have that full size, as is my feeling too. When I compare this to other guns sort of in this category, I'd always rather have something that really completely fills my hand. That said, this does a pretty good job of filling my hand while still being pretty compact. So I would liken this H&K VP9 SK to some other guns that are in the market right now, the Glock 26 and also the new Walther PPQ SC. Now, as some of you guys know, as most of you guys know if you're into guns and if you concealed carry, guns like the Glock 26 have sort of been replaced by thinner, slimmer 9mm. They're typically single stacked. So like the Glock 43, a lot of folks think of that as a really good replacement for the Glock 26. Holds fewer rounds, but it conceals much, much better. Of course, there's the Smith & Wesson Shield. You guys are very familiar with that, I'm sure, as well as a myriad other very slim, very small 9mm. And again, most of you guys will probably feel like those guns have sort of taken the place of these subcompact tanks, these kind of fat, chunky subcompacts. I think to a large degree that's true, they have, but there is still obviously a pretty good market for these guns. So who's going to choose one of these guns over those slim single stacks or staggered single stacks? Well, folks that want a higher round count, generally speaking, because there's only one other really slim gun on the market right now that has the high round count, or at least the same round count as something like this, 10 rounds. And that's the new SIG P365, which is brand new, hard to get right now, and from what I understand, or at least what I'm seeing, maybe slightly unproven as far as reliability. Some guys are maybe reporting some difficulties with it. That's a little up in the air. I certainly haven't shot it myself yet, so I'm not confident in it yet, but we'll see. Again, that's only one of all those other slim 9mm out there. The rest of them are very rounds limited as compared to this, 10 rounds. So the higher round count is a big reason to get into something like this. On top of that, the fact that it fills your hand much better. Okay, when I get my hand around that, grip it nicely, I gotta say, man, this feels better in hand than my Smith & Wesson Shield, for the most part. Okay, it just fills my hand. I feel like I've got more control over it. It's heavier at, I think, 23 ounces or so for the H&K. Glock 26 and the PPQ SC are somewhere in the 21 to 22 range. So it's a bit heavier, but a little more confidence inspiring at the same time. So I think, again, there's a lot of reasons why folks are still going to want this size of gun for concealed carry over some of those slim 9mm. So let's set that whole argument aside, and you guys can debate that down in the comments if you want to. But let's get into some of the details on this gun. So with the H&K VP9 SK, we've got two different magazines. Two magazines come with it, both 10 rounders. One has this nice extended base plate that does not give you extra rounds. As you can see there, it's hollow down there at the bottom. It just gives you something extra to hold on to, which is very nice, okay? One of the complaints I had, my wife shot this gun, and she felt like with the flush fitting magazine, which is this one right there, she didn't really have anywhere for her pinky to go, which is true, and that's true of me as well. I'm a little more used to that than she is, so I don't mind it, but I will say that the extended magazine is much nicer to shoot. So a couple other details on it before I take some more shots with it. It's got everything that the H&K VP9 has got, just in a truncated, smaller package. So shorter barrel on it, shorter grip on it, as you can see, and get 2 full fingers on it. The pinky sort of hangs off like I showed you before. Got that same sort of bladed trigger there, which is great. A lot of people love that H&K trigger, or at least that VP9 trigger, and it is very good. We've also got those sort of wings that you see right here on the slide, right there and there. This sort of helps me as I'm racking it to kind of have a little stopping point as I'm pulling back on that, like so. Okay, now this version of the H&K, the VP9 SK, has got these sort of glowing sights on it. They're kind of like the, what do you call it? The type of glow sights where you actually have to recharge them, and I'll show you what I mean by that. Got my O light here, and if I kind of shine this light on them for a second, you can see that they become very, very bright. Okay, so they'll glow for you if you give them a little bit of a light to charge with, and they do glow for a while, and they glow very brightly. So I'll say that these are nice sights in regards to, you know, what they are. However, they're not like tritium night sights or anything like that, so just be aware of their limitations. But yeah, I'd say that they're better than your standard plain old white sights. Takedown is going to be the same as the H&K VP9, and I believe I covered that in my VP9 video, so I'm not going to really go over any of that here. You can see that there are front and rear slide serrations, a couple of rail points up here. Certain lights will fit on there. None of the lights I have fit on there, so like the Olight PL Mini, a very, very popular weapon light, doesn't fit on there. There's just not a rail point that it fits into, unfortunately. I know that some lights and some lasers will fit on there though, and so you know, it's good to have. Obviously, sights are adjustable. We can also see that it's got that sort of paddle mag release on it that we like on the H&Ks. Not as long as the Walther one. I kind of like the Walther one a little better, but it's very effective. And again, you train with it, doesn't matter. It's right there. It works perfectly fine, and I'll just demonstrate that real quick. I'll kind of hit that with my middle finger. Always drops free real easily. So, works well. One last thing I'll cover before we take some more shots. The grip on it. This is one of the key things that made the VP9 a really popular gun. The grip is like completely modular. So we've got these panels here in this side and on that side, as well as there on the back. And you can slip all of these out and replace them with fatter panels to increase the sort of the width and the girth of this grip. So if you've got larger hands, this really fits into your hand nicely. I've got the smallest panel there, and in the rear, my hands are fairly large, but I don't like a huge grip when I'm shooting. I like something that fills my hand well, but not overly so. And that's kind of what you get with sort of the standard ones. Otherwise, you know, it's an H&K. It's a well put together gun. They're durable. They shoot for a long, long time. They're accurate for what they are, particularly for the size they are. And there's going to be a lot of folks that absolutely love this style of gun, this size of gun, and particularly the VP9 SK. So I, for one, I like it. I'm probably not going to buy it from H&K. It doesn't really fit into my needs right now, but I gotta say, it is a quality gun. It is a lot of fun to shoot as well. A few last rounds to close this out. All right, that's the H&K VP9 SK. Thanks again to H&K for sending this tester out for me. Guys, go ahead and check it out on their website. And thanks so much for watching. I'm the Late Boy Scout, and we'll see you guys later.